Now, the Nigerian startup ecosystem has been ranked 61st globally and second in Africa on the Global Startup Ecosystem Index by Startup Blink. Nigeria displaced Kenya to spot 62 and third in Africa. Nigeria's climb is the result of Lagos's success as the commercial city has seen a massive jump of 41 places to 81st globally, making it the first African city to break into the global top 100. According to the report, Lagos is ranked 24th globally in the food tech industry and 43rd in e-commerce and retail. It added that Lagos is the only African city to reach the global top 30 for any of the 11 industries. The Global Startup Ecosystem Index has been updated annually since 2017 and is a comprehensive startup ecosystem ranking of 1,000 cities and 1,000 countries. Now, joining us for further analysis on this topic is Wale Amin, CEO DataStream, a financial payment platform. He joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us, Wale Amin.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, now let's look at this ranking. The Nigerian startup ecosystem ranking 61st globally and second in Africa. Is it time to rejoice? Is it time to celebrate? And to what do we owe this achievement?
Sorry, the line broke just before you finish. Can you please come again?
Yes, looking at this recent release by the Startup Blink saying that Nigeria startup ecosystem has been ranked 61st globally and second in Africa on the global startup ecosystem. To what do we owe this achievement, and is it time to roll out the drums?
Okay, well, a belief of mine is that for every success, no matter how small, we celebrate. So possibly we should roll some little bit of drums here. The fact that Lagos, Nigeria, is being spotlighted, among the top nations, top cities in the world. So definitely there is something to cheer about in the news. But then again, on the flip side, it also shows that there is more work to do. There is more is demanded from us. It said that to whom much is given,
much more is
also expected.
Oh, well, before we talk about what is expected of us, let's look at the fact that this climb is attributed to Lagos's success. The report saw Lagos jump from 41 places to 81st globally. What factors would you say contributed to this jump?
Okay, so I'll take us back just to the yardstick that is used for basically the ranking. And the ranking basically just looks at three parameters, the quantity, the quality, and the business environment of the particular city. So it shows that on the quantity side, it's basically looking at how many startups are in this city, how many players in the startup ecosystem is available in a particular city. And when you're talking about the players, we're looking at accelerators, we're looking at co-working spaces, we're looking at the number of startups that have come out or are existing in a particular city. So that's on the quantity side. On the quality side, it's looking at how much of quality is the startups in this particular city. How much quality are they bringing on board? What solutions are they providing? What problems are they solving? So that's what the quantity is looking at. And then on the business side of it, it's looking at basically on the national level, what's the business environment like? How easy is it to set up a startup? What are the policies? How well are the policies put in place, to help startups in a particular country? How easy is it to run a business in that particular city? So basically that's what it's looking at. And so if we look at it in that context, we probably should be saying that, okay, yeah, we're doing pretty well. Our policies are right. They are encouraging startups. We are having the right work environment, even though much more still needs to be done. Like I said, but basically those are the parameters we're looking at. And so when we look at the jump in the light of those parameters, and then we also look at it on ground, how much of ease is it? How well are our startups doing? I think we will be patting ourselves on the back.
So are you implying that Lagos is doing well? Looking at all of these parameters you just reeled out, are you saying that Lagos is doing well in those regards?
Yes, obviously, I think that is very, very obvious. You just need to look at the numbers. How many startups, are operating out of Lagos? These are these, when we even compare to other areas in Nigeria. How many, in fact, if we were to take account, I dare say that about 95% of our startups currently are operating or came out, from players, talk about accelerators, talk about the co-working spaces, talk about all of those players. Many of them are, came out from these entities. So, it obviously shows that Lagos is doing pretty well when you compare it to other states in Nigeria. How many startups are coming out from Oyo? How many startups are coming out from the north? We recently heard that ULesson, which was founded by
all right, Wale. Okay, we'll link back up with Wale, but of course, looking at the fact that Lagos is the one driving this ranking, looking at the ranking released by Startup Blink, saying that Nigeria ranked 61st in the whole world, and then second in Africa when it comes to startup index. And of course, that is to say that Lagos is driving businesses when it comes to the ecosystem for businesses. But we would look at the fact that isn't that a challenge? The fact that only one state out of 36 states is the driving force when it comes to startups. Thank you so much for joining us again, Wale.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, you were talking about the fact that Lagos is doing well when it comes to the parameters that were used to judge or come to the conclusion for this report released by Startup Blink. But isn't that a challenge? The fact that only one state out of 36 states in the country is the driving force when it comes to Startup Index.
Definitely it is. Definitely it is. And I think it just shows a little bit of a skewed spread in terms of our startup base. I dare say it's also not ideal for us as a nation, having just one state, turning out those numbers. Although, well, you look at also the historical background of these. Lagos, is Nigeria's commercial capital. It's the seat of businesses and all of that. But then again, we also want to look at it and say, so how do we take this forward? How do we
replicate in other states?
Yes, it comes about putting it in the right policies. It comes around as to what are the factors that have been put in place by our government, by the state governments, by the federal government, to encourage these other states, that there is an enabling environment where these other states can thrive, where startups can thrive in these states. And what are the things we're looking at here? We're looking at things as simple as electricity. We're looking at things as simple as having co-working spaces. We're looking at things as easy as having internet connectivity, pretty much available in these states.
But let me butt in there. Lagos also suffers the epileptic power supply that other states suffer. So isn't that supposed to make other states jack up in terms of, making excuses for their lack of meeting up to capacity?
Yes, well, I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that. And well, I think it's a two-pronged approach here. I think one is for our government, and two is also for the players in the ecosystem. It's ourselves, accelerators, investors. It's a challenge to us to look at it and say, okay, yes, Lagos sort of has the larger share, but how can we? Because there are also quality ideas, quality startup ideas, and people who want to do great things in these other states. But when there are no investors, when the investors are not coming to them, they also probably want to move into Lagos. So you have some people, probably they're based in Port Harcourt, probably they're based in Abuja. But because they know that this is not where the players are, the investors are not here, the critical players in this setup are not there, accelerators, co-working spaces. If they're not found, they want to also come to where the action is happening. And so you see migration, coming, people moving in. So
which of course has led to the
saying.
overpopulation that Lagos is currently grappling with.
Exactly.
But
So
let's look at
we need to deal.
Yes, let's look at the fact that Lagos broke into the first 30 industry spots with food tech, followed immediately with e-commerce and retail. What lessons can we learn from here?
Yes, so it means that, like we've said, we're having, that those are the focal areas. Interestingly, e-commerce is still a burgeoning sector. So it just shows us that there is more, there's like a gold mine here, that we still need to tap into. We've not even scratched the surface, and that's the truth. We've not even scratched the surface. So it's for us to still look deeper. It's for the players in these industries to look deeper. Those who want to, founders who want to develop solutions, to know that, okay, this is where, we have the potentials. We've not even scratched the surface of what, the needs of e-commerce in Lagos as a whole. So
okay. Wale, I mean, we would definitely get back to the conversation where we link up with him again. But of course, looking at the interesting prospects, especially that abounds in the e-commerce industry and the food tech industry, it is the way to go. But the question is, are we looking in that direction? Because there are so many potential when you talk about the fact that a lot is going on in the digital space. Technology is taking over and it is driving the economy, especially for Lagos State. But we need to replicate this in other 35 states of the country. But how do we achieve this? Wale Amin, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, there are about 11 industries in the startup ecosystem, and one of them being fintech. But let's look at the prospects and challenges in the fintech industry, because if you look at the report, fintech is not listed as one of the sectors that drove this report. But what are the potentials and the challenges in that industry? Wale? Okay, we would definitely get back to Wale as soon as we...
Hello?
Okay, Wale, welcome back. Yes, we're talking about the fact that the fintech is one of the 11 industries in the startup ecosystem, but we see that it's not mentioned as one of the driving factors for this report or this results that was released by Startup Blink. We see that the food tech is one of the major driving forces. But what are the prospects and challenges in that sector?
Okay, so I was saying before the network went off that there is this ongoing conversation online that we seem to be having too much of a concentration of startups in the fintech sector. Now, this report just goes to, I think, buttress that we also need to look at other sectors that, in fact, needs more innovation. Take, for instance, the food tech that you just mentioned, that is, what stood Lagos out. So it just shows us that we need to, our developers, our founders, young people need to begin to think critically and make a shift from, dominance in fintech. We seem to have a whole lot of solutions in that area. Why don't we look at other areas where we need solutions to enhance, the quality of life, the quality of living, and, automate, things, needs as we have them.
So what are the opportunities we can leverage on in the food tech sector?
So I did a study some weeks back, and one of the critical areas here is the place of logistics. We have platforms, but we don't have structures. We don't have structures to get products from the warehouse down to the consumers. And this is an area we need to look at. This is an area we need to build solutions around. Solutions that will help us enhance, logistics and delivery. Yes, many people shy away from looking at that area simply because of the challenges But then again, challenges are there because that is where the answers should come from, and that's where you have opportunities. Where you have challenges, you have opportunities. So it's for us to begin to look at that area more as an opportunity, rather than saying the roadblocks. Yes, the truth is there are some critical roadblocks. Infrastructure is a major one. Finance is a major one, because this is a very capital intensive area. But again, that is where our investors also need to look at, so that money is made available. As much as we are investing in financial products, we should also look at investing in solutions that help bridge this gap of taking products from warehouses, from our farmlands, from our farms, down to where it is needed. This is a very critical area we need to look at, as the days go by.
Well, the Chief Executive Officer, Startup Blink, Eli David, described 2022 as the year of global startup ecosystem uncertainty. Do you also pitch your tent with this particular idea coming from the Chief Executive Officer of Startup Blink?
Yes, certainly. Before now, the years preceding now were the pandemic years. We had so much of challenges. Now we are breaking out. Now the uncertainty here is this. Anything can happen. That's the key word here. Anything can happen, and that's just an indicative and it is instructive, telling us that we shouldn't blink too much, because if you blink, you might lose. You want to just keep your tabs on the news, because things are definitely going to break out.
If you snooze, you lose. Thank you so much for your thoughts on the show this morning. Wale Amin, CEO, DataStream, a financial payment platform. Thank you for your thoughts on Business Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you for having me.